Hey guys, let me know if you can hear me or not. I am still at work because we closed late and the customers did not want to leave today. So I had to stay at work to host this webinar. So, oh, I look weirdly colored. But anyway, let me know if you guys can hear me. The customers did not want to leave today. So sorry. I'm watching you guys' comments on my iPad. Okay, so it looks like you guys can't hear me. Great. Okay, let me know at any point during this if you do not hear me. I love to see you guys chatting with each other in the comments. That is so cool. It's so awesome. So I will get to you guys' comments. I see some people have left some questions already, which is fantastic. So we will get to those eventually in this webinar, but I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I have no idea how many of you guys are tuned in right now. Oh, let's see, 27 people so far. So hi to all 27 of you. If you do not know, my name is Jance. I go by Jance Chartae. That's my middle name. I currently work at Revive Thrift Shop. Well, it's Revive Thrift and Boutique. I am a retail professional. I've worked in retail for the last 12 years, and it has been quite the whirlwind. I have started from the very bottom of the pit at Forever 21, and I worked my way up to companies like Saks Fifth Avenue and DKNY and Michael Kors, all types of places. So I've worked nearly everywhere, like all the big name retailers. You'll see it in one of the slides that I'm going to show you guys, but I've worked everywhere. So over the course of my career, I've learned so many things, and I started sharing these YouTube videos with you guys, and they just kind of took off. And now here we are. So I figured I would host a live webinar because I get so many comments and questions and emails and DMs, and I cannot keep up. I'm sorry, I really do try. But I just want to host this webinar live and try to answer as many of you guys' questions and just kind of try to walk you through the beginning stages of starting a boutique, establishing your brand, getting sales, finding customers, social media, all that stuff. So first and foremost, I want to say that I do not. So I know in like a lot of webinars, people claim to be an expert, or that they just know everything. I'm not claiming to know everything. That is not me. I'm not a liar. I'm not going to tell you that I have the right answers to every single thing. I do have experience though, and that is all that I want to share with you guys. I have knowledge. I want to share that with you. And yeah, so let me know in the comments if you guys are ready. Woo-hoo. I'm excited. This is a lot of fun. Let's see. I'm going to look and see where you guys are from. Lots of Florida, Atlanta, Detroit, Alabama, Nebraska. That is crazy. That's awesome. That's great. Awesome. All right, so I am going to share my screen with you guys because I have a little slideshow up for you guys. It'll be a little bit more easy for me to explain what I'm talking about if you can see it versus me just sitting in front of this camera talking to you. So stay tuned. I'm gonna screen share in just a moment here. Let's see. All right, so let me know if you guys can see the screen, the slideshow screen. I'm gonna try to make it full screen. I don't know if it's running slow. Okay, so yes, you can see it. Yes, yes. Cool, great, awesome. All right, so let's see if I make it big. All right, so welcome to my free boutique webinar. I'm so happy that you all are here. As I said, I'm Jance Chartae, and today we are going to learn some of the steps that are involved in taking your boutique to the next level. So here we go. So I already went through this. I'm an experienced retail professional with over a decade of experience. I've worked for some of America's top retailers. And then at the top, you can see some of the places that I have worked. Kid you not, those are not even half of the places I have worked. I know that's crazy. But yeah, so I kind of know what I'm talking about, but whatever. So on to the next slide. So this is who I am. I'm Jance, retail professional. I am an author. As many of you know, I self-published a book on Amazon. It's available right now in both Kindle and a paperback version. And I even attached some of my rankings right now, which I am kind of ranked really greatly currently. This is my very first book. I self-published it, and it's doing quite well, if I may say so myself. And we'll discuss the content of my book throughout this presentation because there's a lot of helpful information in there. But check out those stats, like number 8 in the Kindle store for purchasing books about purchasing and buying. Number 106 for books about processes and infrastructure and purchasing and buying. So there are like thousands, if not millions, of books on Amazon. And look how great my book is doing. So I want to thank you guys, whoever have downloaded it, whoever has bought it. Thank you guys so much. And I hope it's been very helpful to you guys. So I'm Arthur. As many of you know, I'm also a YouTuber. If you do not know, since we are hosting this webinar on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel where I frequently share little tips and advice for people who are thinking about starting a boutique. I read through the comments, people tell me what they want to know, and I try to make a video about it. I am not one of those people who are secretive. I genuinely believe that there is enough to go around. There's enough money, there are enough resources, there's enough products for all of us to sell. So I am 100% committed to helping as many of you guys as I can to make the steps towards becoming a boutique owner, and ultimately, taking control of your life and your finances, being the boss of your life. So I'm a YouTuber. I also have a blog, which is just my name, JanceChartae.com. And same as my YouTube channel, I frequently share tips and bits of advice about buying, merchandise, and things of that nature. So whenever you get a chance, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and also check out my blog because there's lots of helpful things there. So a little bit about what I currently do. As I said, I like to provide helpful tips and guidance to aspiring and current boutique owners. So that is what I do. And this is why I do it, because there are not adequate resources for people who aspire to start boutiques, whether online or brick and mortar. So I know a lot of you guys have noticed there are not very many people on YouTube or just on the internet in general who are willing to directly answer your questions in regards to starting a boutique. You ask them where they got a piece of merchandise from. They don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you how much they paid for it. They don't want to tell you anything. So that is not my motto by any means. I started this channel kind of similarly, like I started this channel because I noticed that there was a lack of resources. So I figured, why not disrupt the market and make a couple people upset? And I decided to shake things up and try to answer all the questions that no one else was answering. So here we are today, and we're going to keep it moving. So next, let me tell you why you should do it, why you should take control of your life and your finances, and why you should become a boutique owner or a business owner in general. There is money to be made, and it's time for you to take your cut of the pie, okay? Let me tell you, we're about to get into some numbers, and you will be, I don't even know what word to use. Like, you're going to be shocked at just how much money there is out there and that you could have a piece of. So let's go into that. So first and foremost, small business is big business, especially in America. Micro businesses represent a large economic segment in the United States and will continue to be an important factor in the economy. So here comes the numbers, guys. Brace yourself. So let's chat about a few statistics before we get to the fun stuff. So did you know that in 2017, retail sales accounted for $3.53 trillion with a T, trillion dollars of worldwide revenue. Yes, trillion with a T, guys. And here's a projection for this year. It's projected that overall retail sales will grow 3.8 to 4.4% this year, which will include a 10 to 12% boost from online and non-store sales. Online, guys. And then lastly, Worldwide e-commerce revenue is expected to rise from $412.8 billion to $712.9 billion by 2022. Guys, come on now. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Come on now. So, how much of that $3.53 trillion will your business account for? So, today we are going to work together, or I'm going to help you guys, and then we're all going to work together to ensure that your business accounts for a nice segment of the economy. So, let's do this, guys. All right, so first we're going to talk about creative barriers. So I do consultations for business owners and boutique owners and things like that. And so during all of my consultations and from the countless emails that I've received, I found that there are 4 common barriers that people encounter when they're trying to start a business, and more specifically a boutique. So these are the 4 barriers that I tend to run into. Number 1 is money, 2, knowledge, 3, confidence, and 4, access. So with money, people assume they don't have enough, or they think that they don't know, or they don't know how much they need. So money seems to be a huge issue for a lot of people. And then number 2 is knowledge. We aren't exactly experienced in that industry, and therefore you feel that you don't have the knowledge needed to run a business within that industry. Then number 3 is confidence. We're scared or nervous about what the outcome will be, and we're scared to fail. That's really the big thing. Like, people are scared to put their money into it and it, fails. So yeah. And then number 4 is access. So we don't have anyone with knowledge of the industry willing to help us or guide us or to hold the door open while we're trying to make our way through. So which of these is your barrier right now? Let me know in the comments which of these would be your number 1 barrier currently, or if any of these are your barriers. Or let me know what your barrier is. What are you struggling with? Let me know in the comments. So let's figure it out together, guys. Here we go. Here we go. So are you afraid? This is a quote that I literally live by. I think that fear of the unknown is one of the biggest factors affecting us all. So I wanted to include this quote, which is one of my favorites. Be afraid, but go anyway. I don't know where it's from, but I live by it. And you should too. You never know until you try. And it's especially true when it comes to starting a business. There will be mistakes along the way. There will never ever be a perfect day. I guarantee you. There may be days where you make tons of money, but it still won't be perfect. You'll still want to make more. So don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from moving forward. So let's move forward. So here are a few problems that I have noticed that a lot of boutique owners say that they come into contact with. The first one is launching. 2nd, finding merchandise. 3, getting customers. And 4, making sales. And let me look in the comments and see what you guys are saying you're struggling with. Lots of knowledge, access, confidence, a few confidence, access. So access and knowledge seems to be the biggest one. We're going to work through it, guys. I promise you. Getting customers and marketing tips. Gotcha. All right. So these are the 4 things that I hear a lot during my consultations and in the emails that I receive. So we're going to work our way through basically each one of these components. So let's do this. And let me tell you that all of these things are tough, no matter how experienced you are. I have been in retail for over 12 years now, and there are still things I don't know. There are days that are the worst days I've ever had in all of my experience, but I don't let that stop me from coming to work the next day and figuring it out. So let's move. So here's a bit about what we're going to talk about in today's webinar. Let's see. We have selecting a company structure and registering, creating a brand strategy, budgeting and merchandise planning, selecting an e-commerce platform and building your online store, social media strategy and advertising, sourcing product and building vendor relationships, packing supplies and shipping strategies and policies. I can't talk, guys. Pricing and promotion strategies, creating a profit plan, and making sales. So let's do it. All right, so first things first, you need a vision. It's extremely important to know the difference between an idea and a vision. And let me know if I'm moving too fast through these slides, guys. I'm trying to pay attention to your comments. So let me know if I'm moving too fast, especially if you're taking notes. But it's important to know the difference between having an idea and having a vision. So an idea would be, oh, I want to start a boutique. Okay, cool. What else? Like, what kind of boutique? So, yes. So ideas ignite the innovation process, but a vision will bring it to life. So you need to think long term. Work out the details of your dream boutique. You need to envision it, bring it to life, not only in your head but on paper. What would you like your business to become? Think about it and work through all of the details, even if they seem unrealistic for your budget or where you're at in life. Even if it seems so unlikely, work through what you would like your business to be. And it's so helpful to write it down on paper, like seeing it in front of you. I don't know, it just does something for me. So I always encourage you to like put it on paper, make it real. It becomes real to me when it's on paper. I don't know why. All right. So a question before we go on, a question that I get very often is, do I need a business plan? My answer is not a formal one. You do not need a formal business plan unless you're seeking funding, such as like an investment or a loan of some sort, which I don't really recommend, but hey, whatever. Otherwise, just work your way through the details that we're about to discuss. So first and foremost, do extensive research or you'll regret it later. I talk about this a lot in my videos and things like that, but I think it's so important for you to know what exists in the market that you are trying to enter. You need to know what people are selling, how much they're pricing it at, try to find out how much they're paying for it and things like that. You need to know as much as you possibly can about that industry. And like I said, unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that are willing to give that information to you. And sometimes you have to work a little bit harder. But I am here today to help you work smarter, not harder. So let's do it. So, first and foremost, we need to choose a name. I know it seems very self explanatory, but kid you not, to some it's not. So, here are 9 tips to help you choose a name. For me, I'm not going to lie, it was really hard. As many of you know, I'm in the process of launching my own boutique, and it took me forever to choose a name. So, here's 9 tips to help you establish a name. One, it's hard to choose. Trust me, I know. Okay, that's not really a tip, but hey. So it needs to be memorable, not too long. Imagine it as a domain name. So that would be your website name. It should be something special, something that has a cool or unique story or a reason behind it. Avoid unusual spellings, especially of common words. Make sure the domain name is available before you get too attached. Use GoDaddy to check to make sure that it's available. Do not settle for .net, .us, .info, anything besides com. Don't do it. Like .com is what you need. .com, .com. Check to make sure that that name is available. If the name that you want is not available with the .com, then you can choose a new name, or you can add a word like shopyourboutique.com, or something that still has your boutique's name in it, but still allows you to have a .com. And avoid names that will box you in. Like, for instance, don't choose a name that has the word, I don't know. If your vision is to one day expand to offering something beyond what you are currently offering. So say you start your business with shoes, but you plan one day to venture off into clothing and maybe accessories and things like that. Don't start your business with the word or your name of your business with the word shoes in it. You'll regret it in the long run, or you'll be wanting to change the name down the road. Um, so now that you've decided a name, it's time for you to claim it. You need to register it everywhere with your state, register the domain name, secure your social media accounts, everything. Sometimes people get too attached to a name, but then they forget to register it. And then 3 months later, they realize that they never registered it. Now they're ready to, and they realize that it's not available. So now you got to go all the way back and start brainstorming a new name. So once it's yours, it's yours. So claim it as early as you can and get that out of the way. So Here we go. Now, we need to talk about the serious side of things for a very brief moment. I promise it will be brief because it's my least favorite topic to discuss. First and foremost, I am not a lawyer. I am not a tax professional. I am not any of those things. So, this section will be very brief, but I want to encourage all of you to register your boutique. Make sure that you take care of the legal aspects of owning a business and register it. I know that not paying taxes may sound like a wonderful idea. It may sound like a cool reality, but being caught down the line for not paying taxes is not worth it. So just register it, get it out the way, and let that be that. Okay. So do it right from day one and don't worry about the problems down the line. So here are a few different options for how you can register your boutique. The most popular one that most people choose is the limited liability company, which is also known as the LLC. Um, that's what I registered my business as, which is an LLC. This particular one, basically, it separates your personal assets from your business assets. You don't want your belongings getting took because something went wrong in your business or somebody decided that they want to sue you because, I don't know, the boot that they bought suffocated their leg and I don't know, whatever. If they just so happen to win that, that lawsuit, you don't want your assets to be touched. Separate yourself from your business. Keep your funds separate. And yeah, but visit your states.gov website to find resources for small business owners. Just about every website for every single state has resources specifically for small businesses. So make sure you check that out. And it's free resources. Free, free, free. We love free. All right. So another one that a lot of people may choose is a sole proprietor. As a sole proprietor, you report net income or loss from a business on the proprietor's personal income tax. Generally, sole proprietors own small or part-time businesses with no employees, and it costs almost nothing to establish a sole proprietorship in most states. And moving on down, one of the key benefits of an LLC versus the sole proprietorship is that a member's liability is limited to the amount of their investment in the LLC. Therefore, a member is not personally liable for the debts of the LLC. So once again, separate yourself from your business if possible. Don't just put everything in your name and just don't separate it. Let's see. So moving on. So here are just a few things to note, and I promise we are almost done with the serious stuff and we'll get through the fun stuff. So things to note, the regulations may differ by state. The name of these documents may be different depending on the state that you're in. So there's a lot of confusion about a seller's permit versus a resale license and this and that and whatnot. So you need to learn what your state calls it in order to know what you need to register your business properly. So again, visit your states.gov website to learn those things. Again, taxes are important, both state and federal. It's just like your paycheck from your 9 to 5. There are state taxes and there are federal taxes. They are important and they become even more important when you own a business. Some states don't require you to have a standard business license, but they do require you to file a DBA, which is called a doing business as. So it's basically like an alternative name. And then some states require home occupation permits for running a business from your home. So again, visit, so there you can also visit the SBA.gov, so Small Business Association.gov to find more information about registering a business. Again, free resources. So make sure you guys check those out. All right, guys, so this is the last slide before we get to the fun stuff, I promise. So I want you guys to know this. The size of your company should not determine the level of your professionalism. Let's do this right from day one. Don't use your inexperience as an excuse for not having it together. It's important to establish yourself as a professional company, a professional brand, a professional person in order for you to obtain customers and ultimately um, retain those customers. So keep it cute, but keep it professional. All right, so time for the fun stuff. Time for the fun stuff. Whoop, whoop. So it's time to start building your brand. Let's do this. So there is a lot of confusion about marketing and branding and advertising. People seem to get them all confused and mixed up. So let's establish the difference between these things. So branding is what you do to create loyal customers. So branding is what the company believes in. It's why it exists. It is how consumers feel about it. Basically, branding is about emotion. So you're doing something to evoke a emotion from the public. Marketing, however, is what drives them to purchase. So marketing and advertising are the two that often get confused. Marketing is more about the visual components of your company. So these can include your company's name, the logo, your tagline, the fonts you use for your logo and things like that, your color scheme, things that people, so these are basically things that people can physically see that identify your company. Marketing is more so about composing strategies that build awareness of the company's products and services. All right. So again, marketing is what drives them to purchase. So then there's advertising. Advertising is a subset of marketing focused mostly on acquiring customers and driving sales. So advertising generally it relates to paid campaigns. So this is usually where your money comes into play. So marketing can be 100% free. Advertising also can be free if you know what you're doing. But oftentimes advertising is associated with something that is paid for. So advertising is more about it relates more to paid campaigns that are carefully written and designed to reach a target audience. So think about like TV and print, like magazines and commercials and radio and things like that. TV spots on the news and all types of things. So think about things that are paid. I'm reading you guys' comments. Yay, fun stuff. That's what I'm dealing with now. I need an occupational license in my city. Yes, it's crazy. Like there are so many different things across every single state. There's literally, I think, no state that's exactly the same. So keep talking to each other in the comments. I love that you guys are talking to each other. That's amazing because, like I said, I don't got all the answers, but I got a couple of them. I sure do. All right, so moving on. So here are some questions that you can answer to begin establishing your company and overall your brand. So we're going to read through these, and I'm gonna give you some time to write it down if you need to do that. So QTNA, questions that need answers. Who are you? You as a person, not your company, but you. Who are you? What's your story? What's your background? Where did you start? Where do you work? What made you decide to start a boutique? Like, who are you and what's your story? What led you here? So, what need will your business satisfy? So, these are about your objectives. What do you want to accomplish within the market that you're trying to enter? So, maybe there are no shops within your area that carry, I don't know. I'm going to keep using shoes as an example because there's not a lot of shoe stores around here. So, maybe there are not a lot of shoe stores. So, you decide to satisfy the market by offering shoes. What will you stand for? What's your mission? It's important to have a mission. People want to know why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, if you're doing it for someone, your values, what you stand for. It's important. Oftentimes, a lot of times, people will resonate with the story behind a business versus just random hoo-ha about nothing. And I'll talk about it a little bit later, but people really resonate with people. So the more you can tell them about you as a person and about your company and why you're doing what you're doing, they'll resonate with you a little bit more. So then we're going to move into what will you sell? This is your merchandise. So back up into what need will your business satisfy? What type of merchandise will you sell? Will you sell long dresses and short dresses and skirts? Is there things that you won't sell, that you plan to never sell? Figure all of those things out. What will be your price range? What will be your price point? Like, think about how cheap of an item you're willing to carry, and what's the max price that you would price an item at, and stick with that until you find that it's not working. If you find that it's not working, but find a price point and stick with it. Think about what will set you apart from other boutiques. There are hundreds of thousands, I'm pretty sure, of boutiques out there. So it's a tough market. I'm not going to lie to you, but having a very detailed plan for how you plan to disrupt that market is valuable. So know what's out there and know exactly how you're going to shake things up. What's going to be your advantage? So next, you need to think about who are your customers? Who are your target audience? What is your target audience? I don't know how to say that question, but anyway, target audience. Think about your target market. Who are you targeting? Are you targeting young women ages 21 to 35, or women aged 25 to 45, or just who are you targeting? Who do you intend to reach with what you're doing and the products that you're offering? And then also, once again, you need to know who are your competitors. Now, your competitors could be someone, a business that is locally, near you, and it could be someone that you don't know anything about their. Sorry, guys, you don't know anything about their business, but think about like the types of boutiques that are out there and how yours will align with theirs and what will set yours apart from theirs. And as you can see, I put see the workbook for more questions that need answers. I forgot to attach the workbook to the email that I sent you guys. So I promise I will send that out. Don't be mad at me. It's coming. I had a long day at work, y'all. All right, so we're going to read through 3 phases to help you develop your brand strategy. So the first phase is getting your brand strategy right and aligned with your business objectives. So determine what your objectives are, and then you will figure out, you will detail how you plan to reach those objectives. So you'll create a strategy. Second is developing all the tools you will need to communicate that brand, such as your logo, tagline, and website. So then this is when all of the design elements and things of that nature come into play. And then finally, there is the phase of strengthening your newly developed or updated brand. So if you're an existing company, think about what you were doing, what was not working, and what you're going to stop doing and what you're going to start doing. So you need to think about what types of methods you have been using to try to get your brand out there, and figure out whether or not those things were working. And there's a variety of ways that you can figure that out. You can send out surveys and polls and things like that, and just ask customers how they found you. So if you have been paying for tons of advertising through social media like Facebook and Instagram and things like that, and you do a survey and you find out that none of your customers found you through Facebook and all of them found you through Instagram, then that lets you know that your customer base is mostly on Instagram, or that you need to find a new way to advertise your products on Facebook. So think about what you're doing and what you need to change. And then if you're a newly developed brand, you don't really have anything to go off of, but you do need to figure out how you want to start and what steps you want to take to try to put your brand out there. Give yourself a deadline, give yourself a goal for how long you want to try those methods, and then go back and see how those methods were working, if they were working at all. If they were not working, then don't assume that you need to try it again for another month or so. Stop doing it and move on to something else. Don't waste your time. All right, so here's a really cool brand example. I like to use the Skittles brand as my example. So Skittles is a great example of a well-versed brand. You could literally be on the other side of the country, on the other side of the world. You could be in China, and you would know exactly what brand you're looking at, even without the brand's name being attached. So here's a little bit about Skittles. Skittles has used the tagline "Taste the Rainbow" since 1994. That tagline perfectly relates to their product. The tagline directly ties into their branding, which features a rainbow on the packaging. And if you saw this packaging from afar, you would know exactly what it was. So they have not changed. Even when they added, different colored packages and everything, there's still a rainbow. There's still Skittles in multiple colors. You know exactly what you're looking at. Even if that big Skittles logo was not across the front of it, you'd see that rainbow and you would know exactly what you're looking at. So they established something and they stuck with it. So please don't change your logos and your colors and your fonts and things like that so often. You're not even giving the public a chance to know who you are because you're changing so often. You want to establish things that make it very evident and very noticeable who you are, and that lets people know exactly your what your company is. So you want them to see something and automatically know that it's you, that it's your brand, that it's your company. I love Skittles, y'all, by the way. So again, here's just a few things, a quick reminder of a few things that you could start using to establish your brand. So the logo, your fonts that you're going to use to create your logo, if your logo involves words, colors that you're going to use. Check out Pantone.com, which basically allows you to pick through thousands of color options. Choose a tagline, choose a mission, figure out your vision, your values, things of that nature. And then last but not least, get a professional email address. So I am not throwing shade, y'all, I promise. But when I went through and looked at all of the different email addresses that have that signed up for the webinar, there was a lot of at Gmail, at Yahoo, at iCloud, at mail this, at that, and what not. Get yourself a professional email address. It does not cost very much. It does cost, I'm not going to lie to you, but it is way more professional than having a very generic at Gmail, at Yahoo, at iCloud. Although people do resonate with people when it comes to receiving correspondence from a company, they don't assume that they're going to receive an email from Tiffany at gmail.com or Brittany at yahoo.com. They assume they're going to receive a email from info at yourboutique.com or help at yourboutique.com and things like that. So it's just overall more professional. So let's try to establish professional things from day one, and a few sources that you guys can use to establish a professional email address is G Suite, which is a Google program, and there's Outlook, which is through Microsoft. All right, so more fun stuff. Oh, it's getting real fun now, y'all. Real fun. Woo, woo. So budgeting and merchandise planning. How much money will you spend and what will you spend it on? Remember that it takes money to make money. And this is especially true in retail because you're literally going out spending your money and hoping that you're going to get a bunch of money back in return. So yes, let's do this. Let me read through some comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, y'all just talking to each other. Okay, cool. That's great. I'm not going to interrupt there. All right. So sourcing products and building vendor relationships. That little tag at the bottom was part of another slide. I don't know why that's there. So let's move on. This is what this section is about. We're talking about sourcing products and building vendor relationships. So buying merchandise. First and foremost, there is no such thing as a perfect buyer. Your purchasing decisions will never be 100% right. Don't think that you have to know exactly what to buy, when to buy it, any of that. It's definitely helpful to establish a strategy for when you're going to buy and how much you're going to buy and what you're going to buy and all of that. But no matter how much you love it, the customer may hate it. It's the truth. I've bought tons of things that I was like, oh my God, people are going to love this. And then it gets to the store and we cannot sell it for nothing. So Don't rattle your brain with trying to make a 100% amazing purchasing decision. It's trial and error for all of us, and it always will be. There will never be a perfect buying situation. Buying randomly, especially as a newbie, results in excess inventory and decreased revenue. It is important to have a carefully created purchasing plan. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the webinar. A little bit, I think it's in maybe it's a few slides down, but it's important to create a plan. Now, I know a lot of you may be thinking, well, as a new boutique owner, I don't exactly know where to start. Like, what do I base my purchasing decisions off of, because I've never done it before. We are going to talk about it. Many of you may have seen my video about how to decide how much money to spend when you're first starting out. If you have, I am going to repeat that in this video, in this webinar. However, for those of you who have not seen the video, I will be talking through that. So it is very important to create a purchasing plan. Basically, I'm telling you all throughout this webinar to create a plan, always have a goal, both monetary and non-monetary. It's important to always have a plan, always set goals for yourself. Always have something to work towards, just work on. All right, so the biggie question that I get a lot of you I know are following me on Instagram and YouTube. So you already know this, and I've shared this numerous times, but for those of you who are new to who I am and the information that I provide, let's talk about where to find merchandise when you're first starting out. So I'll let you know this now. Google is not your friend. Google is not where you should go to try to find wholesale vendors, or reputable ones, shall I say. The first 5 to 8 pages of results will steer you astray. I promise you they will. And this is because for some reason, the reputable vendors aren't good at advertising, marketing, or branding. They're not good at it. I don't know why. And so again, this is why it's so imperative for you to create a marketing, branding, advertising, just a strategy. It's important because you want people to be able to find you. So don't be like them, and let's do it the right way. So I always recommend that you start with an online wholesale marketplace to find out what vendors are out there. So a few of those marketplaces are fashiongo.net, orangeshine.com, and lashowroom.com. I forgot the .com there. But basically what these websites are think of like a huge shopping mall, but full of wholesale vendors. So basically you can shop with hundreds of wholesale vendors all from one website. It's really cool. I've been using it for over a year now, or I've been using Fashion Go more specifically over a year now, and I have been very pleased. I've never run into any issues with it, but I recommend that you establish accounts on these websites, all of them. Now, most of them have very similar, if not the same vendors located on them. However, there are some vendors that are on one that are not on the other. So I recommend just exploring them all when you get a chance. They are free to join, but you do have to be a registered business. And again, like I said earlier, the requirements for registering a business are different per each state. So when they send you back correspondence asking for a particular document, it may be totally different from the last person that they sent a message to requesting documents. And it's because you guys are from a different state, and your state requires something else that will allow you to purchase merchandise at a wholesale rate and then sell it. So again, register your business and you will be able to gain access to these websites. Do it. All right, so where to buy merchandise? Trade shows. So there are a ton of trade shows that happen all year long. I have listed them out for you guys, and this isn't all of them. These are just a few that I'm familiar with. I've only attended, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of these. They all happen in different states, mostly in bigger cities across the U.S. And then there are 2 international trade shows that occur. I listed those off to the left. But again, these happen multiple times a year. Magic is by far the biggest one. I just came back from Magic 2-3 weeks ago, and it was amazing. It's very overwhelming, though. I will not lie to you. I don't care what anybody says. It's very overwhelming, but it is an amazing experience, both for buying and also learning. There are seminars that you can attend to help you launch your business, create email marketing, advertising, like they cover all types of topics. So I always recommend to go to Magic, even if you're not even ready to buy anything yet, just to be there and be able to feel the merchandise and see it in person and get a feel for what it's like is very valuable. So if you can, I'll give you guys time to write these things down, but or the name of these trade shows down. But again, they all happen at different times throughout the year and in multiple cities across the US. I used to live in Japan. I had no idea. Yeah, I just recently found out that they have Magic Japan. Yeah, it's crazy. All right. So I will move on to the next slide. So notice that I did not mention Aliexpress or Alibaba. This is not a mistake. I intentionally did not mention them. I know it's probably the very first website that pops up when you go to Google and you type in wholesale merchandise. It's Alibaba, AliExpress. So, yes, it may be dirt cheap, but it's risky. I want to encourage you all to protect your investment and respect your time. There will be shipping delays, and for a few suppliers, there are product defects. So, I've bought items from AliExpress for myself, but I have never bought anything for the shop ever, as an item to be sold in the shop. I do know that the prices are cheap. Um, if you guys have seen my video about how to find out if vendors' photos are being used elsewhere, there are a lot of vendors on AliExpress and Alibaba that use photos of merchandise that are not photos that belong to them. So basically what these suppliers are doing, they're stealing a photo of a item that exists probably in America, and they're basically creating replicas of that item. And oftentimes what happens is they produce an item that is of or not as great quality as the item pictured. Often there's a lot of spandex and stretch involved, which is not a bad thing. We love a good stretch, but basically it may look like the picture up on first sight. However, once you have it on the body, you realize it's not exactly the same. So if spandex and stretch and all that is what you're going for, if that's what you enjoy, then by all means try it out. But again, I want you guys to make sure you're being resourceful. Read the reviews. Now there are reviewers out there who are paid to write great reviews, and that's anywhere, but read the reviews for whatever it's worth, and do your research as always. And first and foremost, protect your investment, protect your money. And those shipping delays are crazy. I don't have time to be waiting 3 to 4 weeks for my items to come. I need them like now, today, right now. All right. So here are a few of my favorite vendors. I know there's not very many people out there who will share their favorite vendors with you or even tell you at all what vendors they shop with. So you guys have probably heard me talk about Iris Basic a lot. I really love their items. They're very cheap. I won't say they're the greatest quality, but they're not bad quality at all. Their jeans are amazing. I've never had an issue with jeans that I ordered from Iris Basic. I love them. High Five, which also owns a company called Double Zero and a company called Favlux. Again, another two of them are relatively cheap. The other one's a little bit more pricey. The items are really cool. One of them carries a lot of like basic type pieces, but in a ton of colors. There's one of those vendors that is really stylish, more like trendy and things like that. The prices are a little bit higher, but it's worth it. And then I think it's Favlux, which is kind of the in between Double Zero and High Five. It's a price point, and they have kind of a mixture of the two. So some basics, but some trendy pieces. And then you may find that as you're shopping on their websites, you'll find items that are intertwined across all three of those websites. So pay attention to that. Let's see. So Zenana is another website that I order from a lot. They have lots of basic items. They actually sell to a lot of companies like Forever 21, Charlotte Russe, Love Culture, things like that. They sell basically basics, t-shirts and basic dresses and tank tops and things of that nature, sweaters in basic colors. There's a few striped things and whatnot, but not very many like patterns or anything like that. There's Honey Punch and Honey Bell, which is a little bit more pricey, but very trendy. It's like super trendy. Like they're all about the trends. There's not too many. I don't think I've ever seen anything basic on their website ever. Then there is Flying Tomato. Oh, I saw somebody mention Heart and Hips. I love Heart and Hips. So Flying Tomato, another one that's a bit pricey, but it is super trendy. They have some really great styles. I love them. I think they also have a brand called Jealous Tomato as well. I saw them at Magic. But lots of prints, lots of colors, just beautiful. Mai Tai, they have a good mixture of different types of items, basics and more trendy items. I believe they also carry wholesale, and then not wholesale, I'm sorry, plus size. And then Latisse, I think that's how you pronounce it. If you guys saw on my stories the other day, I posted a two-piece set. It was like a pleated skirt and then a crop top. Basically, tons of boutiques had it this spring and summer. That's where it's from. They carry super trendy things, lots of sets and very feminine styles and things of that nature. So those are just a few of my favorite vendors that I want to share with you guys. I hope you guys find those to be helpful in the long run. And again, you will need a license or permit to shop with these vendors. So register your business. All right, so deciding how much to spend. First of all, there's no right answer, but I can help you decide how much would be a good starting point for you. There's not a right answer for a lot of things when it comes to starting a business. It is literally trial and error. So I can only provide advice. I cannot provide a direct answer that will 100% work for every single last one of you. So let's move on. Oh, shucks. I think this slide was supposed to be somewhere else, but there's the different types of licenses. There's the business license, seller's permit, resale permit, tax ID, sales and use tax, EIN, so many different things that pop up during your research of how to start a business. And there's a lot of things that intertwine with one another, and you get confused about which one's which and which one you need. So again, visit your SBA.gov and then your state.gov to find out what exactly you need to register your business. All right, so let's talk money. The stuff that we all want to make, but the stuff that we all don't want to spend. All right, so I'm be honest with you, it's about to get complex. So like I was saying earlier, I talked about this a bit in my YouTube video that many of you may have seen. So in this slide, I'm going to give you an example equation to help you decide how much money to start, how much money would be a good amount to start your business with. So grab a pen and paper. All right, so first and foremost, decide how much money you'd ideally like to spend per item. So for my example, I'm going to choose $10. I would like to spend no more than $10 per item. So if it's less, great, but I will not spend more than $10 per item that I'm buying wholesale. So secondly, you're going to decide how many styles you'd like to ideally start with. I get this question a lot. People ask me how many styles I should start with. There's no right answer once again, but I think personally 20 is a good starting amount. And I also think that you should buy items that pair well with one another because you want to encourage your customers to buy as many of your items as possible. And it's very helpful if they all match well together. You can style them a number of ways in your post and things like that. But anyway, I won't go off on a tangent. So for this example, I'm going to start my buying with 20 styles. So this is 20 different designs, basically. So number 3, know that there are typically 6 items in a pack per style. So of those 20 styles, there's going to be 6 items in each one of those 20 packs. So you're going to order 20 packs and there's going to be 6 items per pack. So for this example, you're going to, you need to determine how many items you're going to receive total. So if there are 20 styles and there's 6 items per pack of a style, that equals 120 total items. And again, I don't know if you guys missed, I am trying to help you decide how much money to start off with. So number 4, you're going to determine how much your inventory will be valued at. This would equal your total cost of goods. So this is basically, I don't want to say how much you spent, but would that be how much you spent? Yeah, that would be how much you spent. So, okay. So this is how much you're going to spend on the merchandise, $1,200. So if you decided that you want to start with 20 styles and you are only going to pay $10 per item, and there are 6 items in each pack. So for this example, you are going to multiply 120 items by $10, which is the amount you pay per item, and that equals a total of $1,200. So that is how much you are going to spend on those 120 items or those 20 styles. So number 5, you're going to determine how much you'd like to profit off of the inventory. Be realistic. Don't think you're about to spend $1,200 and you're going to profit $10,000, honey. Like, don't do that. So be realistic with yourself. You can shoot high, but high as in still realistic. So for this example, I'm going to say that I would like to make $1,500 of profit. So that means I spent $1,200. After I've gotten my $1,200 back, I want to have $1,500 also extra in excess revenue that I made. So number 6, you're going to determine your projected total revenue. So how much you paid for the merchandise plus the amount you would like to profit. So $1,500 is how much I would like to profit, plus $1,200, which is how much I paid for those items, and that would equal $2,700 in revenue. So if you sold all of your items that you bought at $10, and if you profited exactly how much you wanted to profit, your revenue, as in how much money went into your cash register, should be $2,700. So continuing. Number 7, which is the last step, you need to determine the average price for each item. So basically, you're determining how much you would need to price each of those items at on average. So a minimum in order for you to gain $1,500 worth of profit. So you're going to divide your projected revenue by the total number of items in stock. So you are projecting that you're going to make $2,700 total off of all of the styles that you ordered. And there are a total of 120 items. So $2,700 divided by 120 items is $22.50. So $22.50 would be your starting point for how much you would need to price each one of those items at in order for you to make $1,500 profit. And that's the starting point. Remember that. So like $22.50 is kind of an odd number. So round it up to $23, and then that's even more money that you're going to profit. So I talk about this topic in a few of my YouTube videos, but I talk about pricing. You may have noticed that in my pricing videos, when I am showing my invoices, I double what I paid for it when I'm pricing each item. So I double what I paid for it, and then I add an extra 25% to that price. So if I bought the item for $5, then I'm going to double it, which is $10, but then I need to add an extra 25%, which is another $2.50. So my total would be $12.50 that I would price my item at. And the reason that I add an extra 25% is because I want to leave room for price adjustments and markdowns, because they are inevitable unless you know for a fact that you can sell that merchandise. So alternatively, you could dig a lot deeper, for example, by product category. So you can decide you want to spend no more than $10 per item in dresses, and $12 per item in pants, and $6 per item in tops. So you could dig a lot deeper, or you could just decide, in general, each one of the items that I'm selling, I don't want to pay more than $10. So Remember that this is just an example. In order to decide how much money to start with, you need to determine how many styles you would like to start your boutique with, how much you want to spend per item, and how much you would like to profit from your initial investment. I'm reading your comments. I see somebody $1,200. Not bad to start with, in my opinion. I'm so cheap and I'm scared to take the risk to spend so much money starting off. It's scary, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm too. But scared money don't make no money. I like you, girl. Yes, scared money don't make no money. You gotta put your limb out there and try. Is that the saying? Put your limb out there. All right, so let's move on. So here are a few things to keep in mind before you buy anything. I recommend that you do these four things. So as I stated before, I recommend that you start exploring through the vendors that exist through wholesale marketplaces. So through Fashion Go, LA Showroom, and Orange Shine. So number one, I want you to make a list of vendors. So use those wholesale marketplaces to find out what vendors exist. Do your research and establish a list of vendors that you're interested in. So number two, I want you to sign up for accounts on the vendor's website. So it is perfectly okay to order directly from Fashion Go. I've ordered from Fashion Go on numerous occasions. However, when my agenda is to build a relationship and when my agenda is to try to negotiate a price, or when my agenda is to get something out of them and talk to someone directly, I sign up for an account on that vendor's website and talk to somebody directly. So begin building a relationship by registering for an account on their website rather than ordering from wholesale marketplaces. And then number three, plan the merchandise that you want to buy. So you've made a list, you've seen what's available from that vendor on one of the marketplaces, and start writing down those style numbers that you're interested in. Write down the price of each one of those items, and also write down how much you would like to pay for those items. So I'm going to let you know, disclaimer, they will tell you no. I get told no all the time, but sometimes I get told yes, and it feels real good. So you never know unless you ask. So, yes. So while waiting to gain access to the site, because you will have to get approved to be on the vendor site, you need to write out a list of items that you're interested in purchasing. So then lastly, once you gain access to the website, you want to communicate with the vendors and negotiate prices. So when you gain access to the site, send them an email, introduce yourself and your shop. So I'd be like, my name's Jance and I run a boutique in St. Louis, Missouri. We benefit a local nonprofit organization, and 100% of our proceeds goes to this program, blah, 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 blah. So I tell them a little bit about the shop, tell them a little bit about who I am. And then I tell them that I saw some items that they were selling and I love them so much. And I'm really interested. I'm very serious about buying. I'm really interested in building a relationship with them and being a return customer. That's important. Let them know that you're interested in being a return customer. And then you let them know, but I was hoping that I might be able to pay this amount for this item instead of this amount. You can even go as far as telling them how much profit you would like to make off that item. So in my course of me telling them about my shop, I tell them a little bit, especially when I'm in person in the fashion district or at a trade show. It's a little bit harder, the trade show, but fashion district is a little easier. But I tell them a little bit about our price point. If it's a little too high for us, a little too low for us. And I tell them, how much profit we would like to make. It's completely optional for you to tell them that part. But be upfront and tell them, I love this item, but I would really love to pay this amount. And they will either say yes or they will say no. Some of them will give you an explanation as to why they cannot sell it to you for that amount. And then you just move on to the next. Make sure you include a list of items that you are interested in. And hopefully they'll just send you back a list of the best price that they can give you for each of those items instead of having to talk to them about each item individually. So yeah, explain the profit you're hoping to make and your price point. All right. Let's see what's next. So here are a few things to note, 4 things to note. 1, if they don't respond within 48 hours to you, don't bother spending your money with them. 48 hours is a long time to give a person to respond to you, especially someone that you're willing to give your money to. If they don't respond to you in 48 hours in regards to you giving your money to them, they can't be serious about making money. So move on to the next. And also, this is a bit of a sidebar, but in the video that I made about finding out where the pictures are originating from, you can also decide that you want to reverse search those images and see if there's another vendor that's selling that exact same item. So yeah. Oh, and I think I talk about this in another slide, but Fashion Go is launching yeah, I do talk about it. They're launching this program within their website called Style Match, I believe. I don't know too many of the details about it, but basically they will allow you to upload a picture of something that you're looking for, and they will help you find that item. Isn't that crazy? Yes. Okay. So anyway, number 2, don't chase trends unless you know for sure that you can sell them quickly. Trends die really fast, really fast. So you don't want to be stuck with a trend uh, a month after the trend has died. It sucks. So don't chase. You can chase trends by all means, but don't chase too many of them, and don't chase expensive trends either. Um, you don't want to be stuck with that merchandise. So number 3, ask questions when you're ordering from the vendors. So as you're building relationships with them, there are some things that you would like to know, that you should want to know. So ask about open sizing. So basically ask if their packages, how their packages come. So typically most vendors send merchandise as in 2 smalls, 2 mediums, 2 larges. There are a very few vendors out there that do allow open sizing, or they have a different size standard. So they may have like 3 smalls, 2 mediums, 1 large, or 2 smalls, 2 mediums, 2 larges, 2 extra larges. But that's something you want to ask about because some sizes are a lot harder to sell than others. Let's see what else we got. Open size packs available. Do items run small? So some of them may not be very honest with you, but ask if items run true to size, if items run a little bit smaller than they should, things of that nature. Ask about the return policy, because sometimes you get things that are damaged. Sometimes you get things that are just not what you thought they were going to be. And there are vendors that have return policies, but most of them do not give you a refund. They will give you a store credit that you can use towards something else. So make sure you ask about a return policy, and then also ask about restocking fees. FES, I said FES. Ask about restocking fees. So sometimes when you do return that merchandise, they will not credit you back the exact amount that you purchased that pack or that merchandise for. They have a restocking fee, and basically it's like you pay to give them that merchandise back. I know that's weird, but yeah. So then lastly, open a small business account with a shipping provider and ask the vendors to charge your shipping to your account with that provider. It's cheaper. So it's not extremely cheaper, but it is cheaper, especially if you're ordering very frequently. Those little dollars and cents can add up, especially at the end of the year. So I personally use UPS. They have a link that is specifically for small business owners. You can sign up with them. They do ask for your business information, so be ready to provide that. And basically what happens is when I'm shopping with a vendor, I let them know that I have a UPS account that I would like them to charge my shipping to, and UPS will send me an invoice for me to pay for my shipping, instead of the shipping being charged directly to my invoice that I'm purchasing from the vendor. Hope that made sense. All right, so let's prepare to launch. So first and foremost, don't expect sales to come if you didn't plan how you would acquire them. You cannot just be quietly working away at formatting a website and building a website and expect people to just find you. It's not going to happen. So it takes work. So let's talk about selecting an e-commerce platform. There are 5. These are the 5 top options that I tend to hear people say that they use for an e-commerce platform. There's Shopify, which is extremely popular amongst boutique owners. There's BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Squarespace, and Wix. I have experience with Shopify. I also have experience with WooCommerce. I have experience building websites through Squarespace, but not online stores. I believe Shopify and BigCommerce have the the biggest capability of like large inventory versus WooCommerce, which is like a plugin that you would use with a another platform like WordPress. So my website, jancechartae.com, is through WordPress. And then where you can buy like my vendor list and everything, that's through the plugin WooCommerce, which allows me to sell merchandise. However, you can't upload very many items to WooCommerce. So if you plan to have a very large inventory, it doesn't make sense for you to start your business with a e-commerce platform that does not allow you to have very many items in your inventory. I personally recommend Shopify. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so what to look for when selecting an e-commerce platform? Look for great reporting and inventory management, email marketing capability, easy customization, great speed and load times, and make sure it's affordable. So great reporting and inventory management. You need to make sure that that system, it's good to keep an eye on your inventory yourself, but it's also very helpful to have a system that keeps track of it for you. So make sure that you find one that is very capable of keeping an accurate count of what items are currently in stock, when they got sold, how long it took to sell them, price adjustments and things of that nature. Email marketing capability is super important. As people shop with you, you want to make sure that you are collecting their emails because oftentimes that's how you get them to come back to shop with you. There aren't too many people out there that just naturally think to visit a website just randomly. It's usually because they received an email telling them that an item that's great or a new item would be great for them, or thanking them for their last order and giving them a coupon towards the next order and things like that. So make sure that you pick one that allows you to send emails to your customers. Pick a e-commerce platform that is easy to customize. So in designing your website, I know a lot of us want things to look a certain way and a different color and a background and all that stuff. So pick one that's easy to customize and does not require you to know, fancy coding and be all up in the back end of situations trying to figure out how to move a sidebar from the left to the right, or crazy things. Pick something that's easy for you to figure out how to manage. Then great speed and load times. It's important for your website to load very fast. From what I know, I believe Shopify has one of the fastest loading times for e-commerce platforms. A lot of people will not visit your shop because it takes so long for your website to load. So make sure that it's loading quickly. And then lastly, make sure it's affordable. That's just more so for your pockets. You don't want to pay an arm and a leg for a program, and maybe you're not even making very many sales. You don't want to be paying more a month to have that platform, and you're not even making that amount of money in merchandise. That doesn't make sense. All right, so what's next? Creating a landing page. So a landing page is basically self-explanatory, a page that a person would land on. So these are very useful when you have not launched your business yet, but you want to have something that exists for your customers to sign up for your email list on. So an example of a landing page is the website that you guys visited to sign up for this webinar. I made that page through a website called MailerLite. MailerLite.com. And basically what that allows you to do is create pop-ups that you can integrate into your existing website or e-commerce website. It allows you to create email campaigns, landing pages, and things like that. So basically, and it helps you to acquire email addresses. So I personally use MailerLite to manage email addresses, create email campaigns, as well as create beautiful landing pages like the one you signed up for this webinar on. All right, so here's a few things that your online store should feature. It should have an About Me page. Again, it is so important for people to know what your company represents, who you are, what you do, why you do it, who you are as a person, not just your company. It's important. You don't have to include like crazy pictures of yourself or anything like that. You can if you want to, but it's important for people to know that the person behind the magic that's happening. Make sure your online store has a contact page. People need to be able to contact you, especially if there's an issue with an order or things of that nature. They need to know how they can get in contact with you. Your website should have a shipping policy, so let the people know how long they can expect before their item is shipped out, how long they can expect before that item will arrive at their doorstep. Your website should have a return and exchange policy. So let them know if you don't accept returns, if you accept returns within a certain frame, if you only allow exchanges or if you only allow store credit, things of that nature, you should let them know that up front. They should not have to dig for that information or contact you to figure that information out. Categories reflecting all merchandise available. So I visited a few websites, and again, my intention is not to throw shade at anyone. However, so I found that there are a few websites or e-commerce websites that feature an array of merchandise. However, they're not split within categories. So there's like skirt, dress, shorts, pants, skirt, pants, dress, this, that, and they're all on one big page together, and it's just like a hodgepodge of stuff. And I get it, like as a business owner, you want your customers to see every single item that you have available, but it's not realistic for your customer. You want to provide your customer with the convenience of being able to go to the exact category for whatever it is they're looking for. So if they saw you posted some cute shorts on your Instagram page, they should be able to go to your website and click shorts and be able to scroll through the shorts available and find the shorts that you posted on your Instagram page. So create convenience for your customers by having categories that reflect all of your merchandise. Beautiful photos of merchandise. I think I talk about this in another slide, but you don't have to take professional photos, but it is very possible for your photos to look professional. I'm pretty sure I talk about this in another slide, but make sure you carefully decide what photos you are going to include. I know some people do use the photos from vendors, which is completely fine. But it's also very helpful for them to see the merchandise on a real human body, not a model body. It's helpful for them to see the details of the item. So, the hem and the sleeve and the back and all that stuff. So beautiful photos that show details, and also your photos should also be accompanied by a description of every item. So tell them as many details as you possibly can about that item. From the color, like if the picture looks red, but the item is really magenta, or if the picture looks red and the item is really like burgundy, let them know that in the description. The length of the item, the length of the sleeve, if it stretches, if it does not stretch, what material it's made of, things of that nature. You would be surprised at how important those details are to a lot of people. So those are a few things that your online store should feature. All right, so what's next? We are going to talk about free versus paid advertising, what to advertise when you don't have any merchandise yet. Notify your community by handing, so here's a few ways that you can do that. Notify your community by handing out promotional materials, word of mouth. Tell everyone that you talk to. So you're having, general conversation with people, let them know that you are starting a boutique, and it's going to launch soon, and hopefully you have a business card or something that you can hand to them, and let them know, give them a physical indication that your business is starting. Give them a go to the landing page. You can go to the landing page from your own phone and have people sign up for the email list, so you can let them know, I'm collecting emails right now to let people know when we launch. It's going to be huge, and if you want, I can add you to the email list right now. Make sure you know what the link to that landing page is, and let them sign up right then and there. Start following people on your social media accounts, especially on Instagram. You can find almost anything and anybody on Instagram. Follow, 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 follow. I know it sucks when they don't follow back, but follow them. You can always unfollow them later. I am an advocate for unfollows. I'm not going to lie to you. Create a video. Videos are king right now. So I know photos seem great, especially on a platform like Instagram and things like that. But like videos, and especially stories and Snapchat and things like that, like people want to see videos. I don't know why. They just want to see motion. They want to see like things happening. It's crazy. So create a video. And the video can be, you just talking about your business, talking about your mission, your vision, your anything. Create a video. Google AdWords, that's a little bit more complex. I don't know much about it. We do use it for Revive's website. I signed up for a Google I think it's called Google AdWords account on through Google, obviously. And they gave me $150 worth of free credits. So I have yet to dabble in that, but sign up for it. You never know. You might be really good at figuring out how that works. So sign up for it. Basically, Google AdWords is like it helps your business run to the top of the listings of like boutiques or whatever in your area. So like right now, if you Googled like best thrift shop in St. Louis, Revive Thrift Shop would probably come up. Kid you not. Um, and then run a contest. So your business may not have launched yet. However, you can run a contest, share this. And when we launch, I will give 2 lucky winners a gift card worth $10 to spend from our shop or whatever the case may be. You can create a fun contest for people to enter. So social media is your friend. By now, you should have claimed your Instagram handle and created a Facebook page. And now let's talk about marketing and advertising techniques. So let's do this. We want to create a social media strategy. You need to decide what the tone of your social media will be and be consistent. So if you are going to be, happy, happy, happy go lucky, all of your posts need to be happy, happy, happy go lucky. Don't go mixing in a sad video of a puppy or I don't know, somebody's GoFundMe page and all that. Like, no, save that for some other platform. Save that for your personal page. I don't know. Save it for something, but don't put it on your business page. Decide what the tone of your social media will be and be consistent. Determine 3 types of photos that you will share. So for an example, an online boutique that specializes in athletic and activewear may decide that they will prior to them. So this is even prior to them launching. So they may decide that they're only going to post pictures that are related to sports or sports news. They may only post athletes wearing activewear and quotes associated with health and working out. So all of those things intertwine with one another. So decide 3 types of photos that you will share and do it over and over and over again. Do not assume that you can post once a day and that you're going to create a following. You need to post as regularly as possible and use hashtags and follow people. Your post should never be random and they should always make sense and align with your brand. Whatever you post should align with who you are and what your business represents. Very important, guys. So here's some social media examples. I chose Coca-Cola. They have some very, very consistent social media. So this is a screenshot of their Facebook page. So as you can see, they have their logo up in the left corner, the iconic Coca-Cola brand or Coca-Cola logo. And then in the header, they have the picture of the girl holding the Coca-Cola. And as you can see, this page is about Coca-Cola. And the girl's smiling. She's happy. It's Coca-Cola. So let's see how consistent their branding and their social media is. So at the top, there is a screenshot of their that's their Twitter account. So as you can see, the logo again is Coca-Cola, same font, same red, same color, and the header includes pictures of their bottles once again. Very consistent. And then down in the right-hand corner, there's their Coca-Cola's Instagram account. As you can see, the same logo. Again, the font hasn't changed. The color hasn't changed. The tone hasn't changed. And then you see they have photos of their bottles throughout their Instagram. So decide what the tone of your social media is going to be, what your logo is going to be, what your header is going to look like, what your header is going to include. And then again, look at the Twitter account. So this is Twitter in the top left corner. You see the girl, she's holding the bottle, she's smiling. Let's go back. There's the Facebook page, girl smiling, holding the Coca-Cola. It's the same thing. They are so consistent. So decide what it's going to look like and keep it there. So again, all their social media accounts evoke the same emotion from me as a consumer. I know exactly who this page belongs to, and they display their merchandise beautifully. That's what we want to do. Beautifully. All right, so then let's talk about taking photos of merchandise. Professional photos are not necessary, but your photos can still look professional. I recommend that you take your photos in daylight as early as possible. Um, Near a window, so you want to use natural sunlight, not necessarily the light shining from the ceiling. Use your phone. I use my phone for probably 97% of the photos that I take for the shop. Um, and then here's a really great technique. So I find that a lot of people are like, I don't know how to take photos of the product. I don't know what they should look like. So follow professional photographers on Instagram, or even just use these hashtags. So, and then you use their pictures as inspiration for your pictures. So these are a few hashtags that I use to find ideas for posting pictures of merchandise. So there's hashtag product photography, flat lays, product photos, clothing photography, and boutique photography. Yes, use those hashtags. Hashtags are so important, especially in the world of Instagram. It's important that you focus on the product, so don't give too much focus on anything else in the photos if the intent is to sell your merchandise. And then lastly, edit imperfections, but not too much. You want the item to still look like the item, but you also want to edit out any types of major imperfections. All right, so it is important to be engaging and encourage engagement. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you may know that I post like polls and questions a lot. And it's because I genuinely want to know what you guys want to see and how exactly I can help you. That is the best way that you can help your customers, by asking them exactly what they want, what they need. Um, Customers want to be heard. They want to feel like their voices matter. And what better way to show them that their voices matter by asking them questions directly and allowing them to answer those questions. So I found this statistic: 56% of shoppers would rather send a message rather than call or send an email. So it's important that we are available to answer their questions. So if you are going to be active on social media and Facebook, it's important that you're also available to answer their questions, because that's where a lot of people tend to go when they have questions or concerns. A quick tip I use for Facebook: I'm not always on Facebook. I'm on Instagram a lot more than I am on Facebook. However, I have a notification set for whenever someone sends me a message on Facebook. If I'm not available or not logged on at the time, it will automatically send them a message back that includes their name and lets them know that I'll get back to them shortly. So say someone named Stephanie sends me a message about, I don't know what, it's going to automatically populate a message that says, "Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for reaching out. We'll get back. We're busy doing blah, 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 or we're busy, or we're not available right now, but we'll get back to you as soon as possible." And that at least lets them know, like, that it makes them feel like, oh, well, they actually check their messages, even though you're not actually checking your message. Facebook is doing the talking for you, but it resonates well with your customers. So don't leave them hanging for too long. Let's see. All right, so let's talk about making your first sale. So there are a lot of people who I have talked to who said that they have launched their business, may have had their business for a while, and they have not made any sales. And first and foremost, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. So please do not expect sales to come if you're not doing anything to make the sales. You may say, I'm posting on Instagram every single day. But if you've been posting on Instagram every single day for a month and you have still made any sales, then obviously there's something that you're not doing on Instagram that's right, or not resonating well with anyone. And maybe you need to move to another platform, or maybe it's the type of photos that you're taking. You need to look at those types of things, or maybe just move on to a different platform. Or you need to try something new that doesn't involve you being at home and commenting from your couch. So don't think that sales will automatically come just because you quote unquote launched. So here are a few ideas for how you can try to acquire sales. You can host a pop-up shop. I know that sounds like a very daunting task, but it's not that hard, I promise you. So one of the ways that I find out ways to host pop-up shops and things like that is I look at Facebook events, and I also look at Eventbrite events in my area. And basically I just scan through all of them. I look for things that are related to like fashion and retail and maybe a vendor show, things like that. And I contact whoever is running that particular event, let them know who I am, what I do, about the boutique, about the shop, and I let them know or I ask if they would be interested in me hosting a pop-up shop. Um, and it's as simple as that. Grab you a rack and some hangers and go hang up all your stuff at this event that hopefully people will attend and hopefully they'll purchase things from you. That's it. Another way you can try to make your first sales is to partner with another small business. So so when I say partner with a small business, let me give you a few examples. So um, we carry candles. Well, we used to carry candles in our shop. They're all locally made. And she has a really great um, following. People love her candles. So we purchased candles from her at a wholesale rate. And then we sold them in the shop and we let people know, like, hey, we have these candles and they're really popular. We let them know, who made them, blah, 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 blah. And it enticed people to come in to shop with us and they got to see all the other merchandise that we had, even though they only came for the candles. So it may involve you buying something else from a local homemaker. Find someone who's doing something that's spectacular or selling something spectacular and partner with them. Or maybe you can even host an event with someone else who may have an established brand. So not necessarily someone who's a direct competitor, but someone who may have the same target audience as you, and you guys can partner to host an event together. You can also boost ads on Facebook and Instagram for as little as $1 a day. You could put up an ad for literally one day for $1. And the cool thing about Facebook ads and Instagram ads is if they're not delivering, you're not getting charged for them. You can pause them at any time. You can delete them at any time, even before that $1 has been charged to your account. And also you can set your payment threshold to not charge you until the end of the month. So you may have spent this $1 on September the 1st, but you may not get charged for that $1 until September the 30th. So that's really cool. You can pass out promotional materials and also tell everyone about your boutique and post in Facebook groups where permitted. So I'm about to turn the screen share off for just a second because I want to show you guys some examples of promotional materials that you can pass out prior to you starting your boutique or launching your boutique, or even when you're not making sales. These are things that you can hand out to people. So let's see. Let me find the stop screen. Okay, so this is my business card for my consulting services. So it's really simple. It has my information on it. However, on the back, I have this little QR code. So I got these made at Vistaprint by Vistaprint. It has this QR code. They can scan this QR code and they will get a discount off of a consultation. People love discounts. So if you can hand them something that physically will give them a discount, it's cool. Our shop actually also has these little cards. It tells them about our shop, has some pictures of some merchandise that we sell. On the back, it tells them a little bit more about the shop. It has our contact information, our Instagram handle, our website. Our mission is at the top of it. So I hand these out a lot. We have bigger cards. These tell about the nonprofit that we benefit, and it actually has just more so like information about our community and things like that. On the back, it has a person that they can resonate with and a story about that person. Has some statistics and things like that. And then we have these like longer cards. So there are tons of things that you guys can use as promotional materials. Something as simple as a business card can be a promotional material, but it's important that you remember to share information that your boutique exists with every single person that you come into contact with when it makes sense, obviously. All right, so let's get back to the slideshow. I think we're almost done, guys. And we're going to get to the questions. Oh, got to push screen share. Okay, let's see. Ooh, my phone keeps ringing. All right. So sorry, I'm not good at managing this. Okay, here we go. All right, so again, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. If what you've been trying to do is not working, let's figure something else out. It's time to try something new. Step outside your comfort zone and try something new. All right, so what to do when it's not working? Because I have people say that too. They're like, I tried what you said and it's not working. So when you aren't selling, you need to understand that this is tied up cash. Do not buy anymore. I've had a few people ask me, well, do you think I should buy more merchandise to try to sell? What sense does that make? You have merchandise that you've already spent money on that you have not made any money back from. You haven't even made back the money that you spent on that merchandise. So why would you go buy more merchandise in hopes of selling your other merchandise? That doesn't make sense. There was a quote that I heard at Magic. It was discounting is like lazy marketing. So I wrote down what he said about that. He said basically, truthfully, you don't ever have to run a sale or promotion if you have a carefully constructed sales and marketing plan. You also need a very strong brand. So basically, this goes back to creating a plan of action, how you're going to put your brand out there, making it as detailed as possible. So again, back to this buying situation. Do not buy more merchandise when your merchandise is not selling. If you've had it for quite some time, I personally recommend that you at least try to get back the money that you have spent on that merchandise. So you're literally going to take your price down to the amount that you spent on that merchandise. That's exactly what I'm telling you to do. That's exactly what I'm telling you to do. Make your money back. And so here's another really good quote that I got from Magic. Inventory is neither wine nor cheese. It does not get better with time. So you need to sell it fast, especially if it's one of those trendy items. It's not going to get better after 2 weeks, after having it a month. It's not going to be within the mind frame of your customer. So get rid of it as quickly as you can. All right. It's the part you guys have been waiting for. Time for questions. So I constructed a few questions that I got from Instagram because I asked you guys what questions you wanted me to ask or answer. I'm sorry. And I think I have like 2 pages worth. And I will read through your questions in the comments as well. I'll just run through some of these and answer them really quickly. So how do I choose the right merchandise? Again, there's no answer to what is considered to be the right type of merchandise. It doesn't exist. When you first start out, it is definitely a personal decision, but also you should be, again, doing your research, finding out what the trends of the season are. So, fur and leopard print, which is a thing right now. Find out what is trendy. Not necessarily that you have to buy it, but at least know what it is. And if you're buying basic pieces, when you're talking to your customers, you can say things like, right now leopard print skirts or leopard print is really hot, really trendy, and this item will pair really well with that. Or you want to tell your customer, you basically want to sell your merchandise to the customer in a way that like tells them exactly how they can wear it. That's the easiest way to sell merchandise. Give them an idea of how it can be styled. That's my personal opinion. So the next question is LA the most favorable city to search for wholesale merchandise? I love the LA fashion district. I would say yes. The majority of the very reputable vendors are located in the LA fashion district, which stretches like a ton of streets. It's a lot of streets to walk down, but it's a lot of fun. If you ever get a chance to get out to LA, I recommend that you go to the fashion district. As I said earlier, I'm able to negotiate prices a lot easier when I'm directly in that person's face, and it's a lot easier in the fashion district than it is at the fashion trade shows. It's not as busy in the fashion district, especially if you pick the right days to go. And yeah, so I would say yes. LA is the most favorable city to search for wholesale merchandise. I believe New York has a very small wholesale fashion district as well. Advice for pop-up shops. I just talked about that a little bit, but I would say, most definitely look and find out what events are going on in your community and reach out to those people. You can also offer to sponsor different events and things like that. Give coupons out and stuff of that nature. People like coupons. They really do. How many packs and styles should I start with? So we talked about this briefly as well. I recommend 20 styles to start out with, and make sure that they are easily interchangeable with one another, that they pair well with each other, and things of that nature. Um, let's see. So what's supposed to attract new followers? That's a very good question. I wouldn't say it's about what you post. I would say it's more so about how you post. So you need to look at, when so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Instagram Insights, but if you have your account registered as a business account, you can look at Insights and it'll tell you when your customers are most active on your Instagram, what days, what time frames, and things like that, the gender, all of those things. So I would recommend looking at those things, finding out when they're most active, when they like your post. I use a few different. Well, no, I use one main app. It's called Unum, UNUM, and I use it to organize my posts before I post them and schedule them to post. And I just try to make sense of the order of the things that I'm posting. So I literally plan out what exactly it's going to look like, when it's going to be posted, the hashtags that are going to be used. And this app also lets me know which hashtags are generating the most likes for me. So find out what you're doing and adjust what you're doing, not what you're posting, because you want to post your merchandise. And it's also healthy to post things that are not merchandise related as well, like quotes and little fun sayings and things like that. But make sure it matches the tone of your social media as well. How to pay less for shipping. So we talked about this a little bit. I recommend so with Fashion Go and LA Showroom, I'm not sure about Orange Shine, but they offer consolidated shipping. So you can basically order from a bunch of websites and have all of that merchandise packaged together instead of paying a bunch of different shipping amounts for each individual order. And then also, I recommend that you sign up for a small business account with a shipment provider. What portion of the sales should you keep and what portion should you put back in the business? That is an awesome question that I have an answer to, and I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I answered it correctly. So, generally speaking, any amount outside of the amount I paid for the item, I would keep as profit initially. Everything else I would put back into the business. And then I would set a profit goal. And then once I've reached that goal, then I would decide how much I would like to add to my spending amount, if any. So basically, I'm going to decide for, I don't know, 6 months, whatever amount I make outside of what I spent, I'm going to keep as profit for myself. But then if I find that I'm getting to a place where I'm doubling what I paid or tripling, which I don't foresee. But then I would reevaluate how much I would like to put back in the business and how much I would like to keep as profit. Let's see. QuickBooks. I recommend getting an accountant. Not necessarily getting an accountant, but I would recommend consulting an accountant. Even if you can hire somebody for a week, a month, for a short period of time to at least teach you how to manage your books properly, or maybe hire them on a quarterly basis, something like that, that allows you to make sure that you're doing things correctly. I would definitely recommend consulting a professional. When should I start purchasing for the next season? So, let's see. So I always recommend just going into stores and you can kind of see the transition of the merchandise happening. So right now you're seeing stores are starting to they have a lot more sweaters out and they're starting to put coats out, even though it's still, the end of summer. So we're at the end of summer. So at the end of, I would say the middle of the summer, you want to start getting transitional fall pieces. So like pieces that are fall colors or lightweight sweaters, things that will pair well underneath a coat into the winter. So, but on those off chance fall days, you can pair with a summer item. So it's more transitional. So I always recommend transitional pieces, and then right at the beginning of the season is when you go hardcore on whatever attire matches that season or right at the end of the prior season. Hope that makes sense. I am not getting any responses from friends or family when I post on Facebook and Instagram. How can I change that? I would say that if you're not getting a response from your friends and family, then you need to find another audience. Your Generally speaking, friends and family are usually your first customers, or they're like your biggest advertisers. So I'm not sure if you're saying that they're not supporting you in regards to like posting your things, or if you're saying that um if they're not buying your items. However, I would say that if that's the case, your friends and your family are not your target audience, apparently, and you need to find your target audience. So this goes back to marketing and branding and your just overall your no I'm sorry, it goes back to your overall vision. So creating a plan, creating a goal, deciding who your target audience is, figuring out where the target audience is online, and getting there. Facebook groups are a great place to find customers, but you need to make sure that you're permitted to post sales related things in those groups. What do you recommend as a good software for a POS system and accounting and payroll? So, mm, when speaking about a POS system, which is a point of sale system, that's more so like for a brick and mortar situation. So, we currently use Square. I love Square. It's amazing. I recommend it to everybody. They also have payroll capability. So I definitely recommend Square. Payroll, we actually use ADP. However, we don't use the payroll functionality within Square. And then for accounting, QuickBooks is the go-to. There's also a program called FreshBooks, which I don't have very much experience with, but I hear it's pretty cool. How do you ensure your books are managed correctly? Again, I recommend that you consult with a professional accountant on a regular basis. At least have them teach you how to manage your books correctly. Where do you purchase mannequins and other necessities for startups? So I purchased the majority of our mannequins from Store Supply Warehouse. I've also purchased mannequins from store liquidation sales. So when a store is going out of business, I will have to look up the website, but there's websites out there that let you know when stores are going out of business. And basically, I sign up for an account on there, and they'll contact me whenever there's a business going out of business, and they'll ask me like if there's any of their fixtures and mannequins and things like that that I'll be interested in purchasing. I launched, but haven't made any sales. How can I make my first sale? We talked about that. Try advertising, $1 a day, handing out promotional materials in your community wherever you go. You can also go into like places like your local Starbucks and ask if you can put things up on their bulletin board. Share your boutique information in Facebook groups and things of that nature. Put the word out as many places as you possibly can. What vendors don't require a business license? I get asked that a lot. I don't know any vendors that don't require a business license, because I recommend that you have a business license from day one. So then you don't have to worry about finding any vendors that don't require a business license. And then business credit. Do I need it, and how do I get it? So not necessarily you don't need business credit, but it does become helpful down the line when you start making a lot of money, or more money than normal. You do want to establish credit for your business eventually, but in order to establish credit for your business, oftentimes you have to start with your personal credit. So yes and no. You don't need it, but it can be helpful. Okay, I think that's all the questions. So, yes, that's all the questions. So, I'm going to go into the comments and see what questions I can find. You guys have so many. So, feel free to ask some questions. I'm going to scroll. I'm going to scroll up. Mm, I see a few people asking if I'm going to send it out in an email. I do plan to do that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. How much money should I bring to magic? So, it depends. I would recommend first creating a plan for what you would like to buy, as far as like how many styles of this, how many styles of that, and then go back to. Um, I don't know if you're an experienced buyer or not, or if you already have launched your boutique or not, but figuring out your typical price point for those particular items, determining how much you want to pay for those items, and then kind of formulating a formula for how much money you would need to spend in order to get those items, that amount of items that you want. Will you talk about what we should do when we receive items that have defects? Items that have defects, I contact the vendor as soon as possible. I send them a photo of that item. I let them know that I just received that merchandise. I just took it out of the package. I also send them a picture of all the rest of the merchandise still in the packaging, if it is in fact still in the packaging, and I let them know that it's defective. I make sure I take a very clear picture of the defect and ask them what their policy is in regards to that. Often, the bottom of the invoice will have something about their return policy or the policy regarding defects. So make sure you check that out. What about Shein, Zaful, Boohoo? I don't shop with any of those websites personally. I more so hear people say they shop on those sites for themselves, not necessarily for wholesale purposes. Mm, I love Heart and Hips. Yep, love Heart and Hips. Just made my first purchase of Heart and Hips today. Yes. Do they update their site often? I don't think they really do. I think they add one or two styles here and there. Yep, Zenana Curry's plus size. My Instagram is at Jance Chartae, JanceChartae. Oh yeah, you guys feel free to drop your emails in the comments because I want to send this out to you guys. Can we get sample items before buying a pack? Most vendors do not offer samples. However, in if you live in the LA area, you can buy samples. They have like sample sales every Saturday morning, I think, or something like that. So the quick answer is no. Most of them do not offer samples. I do believe like Alibaba and Aliexpress vendors do offer those types of things though. When the door closes, I like you. When the door closes, go through the window or make a door. Yes, make it happen. Where can I get vintage t-shirts or slogan t-shirts? I am not positive. I don't buy too many uh, t-shirts that have things on it. I buy more so basic t-shirts. I'm happy to see you guys are chatting away. I had a tough time deciding between Squarespace and Shopify. I feel like Squarespace is a really good platform. It's really beautiful. Do you think customers are turned off by exchange only policies? Yes, but there are also vendor or customers that understand that and they understand the risk that they're taking when they purchase. Now, I would say if the item is kind of pricey, then I would be personally turned off by not being able to at least exchange that merchandise or get a store credit, especially if I didn't care for that item or if I received it and it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, or the picture was deceiving or something like that. So I would say, depending on what your price point is, the customers may be turned off by a policy that only offers exchanges or that does not offer returns at all. We lose business by doing exchange only. I don't think you would lose business. No, I think that ultimately it comes down to building your brand up, girl. People will grow to trust you and what you do and what you offer. Is there a charge to use photos from vendors? Nope, there is no charge to use photos from vendors. Not at all. What about display pictures, flat lay, or model? I think that a mix of flat lays and models is a good. Um, I think that's beneficial. I don't think you should do either or. I personally like to show multiple items styled different ways. So throughout my feed, I would show some short styled one way on the model, but then in the flat lay, show them styled with something else. Maybe like, a full outfit, the shirt, the shoes, the accessories, things like that. So mhm. Tashina McKnight, girl, I like you. You are funny. I see some people ask me how long this webinar was. I did not expect it to be this long, y'all. I promise I didn't. Tashina, you are hilarious. I'm happy that this has been helpful. So, how often would a person buy monthly, quarterly? I personally buy things like every single week. I think it comes down to your budgeting. So, we create a monthly budget for how much we would like to spend per month, and then I break that up into however many times I would like to purchase throughout the month. I just don't exceed that budget. Have you started? No, I haven't formally started my business yet. I'm hoping to at the end of September. My current job is actually in the process of closing. And so we're just trying to get all this stuff out. Yes, Black Friday sales are crazy. Yes. If possible, get your business up and running by then. What exactly, Georgia? What exactly did you want to know about shipping from wholesale sellers? That was your biggest shock. Yeah, I wish the wholesalers would put the whole cost of shipping at checkout too. I agree. I will say the more that you order from the vendor, the more your shipping will add out, so or even out. So like if you only order one style, I have an example video on my YouTube about this. But if you order one style and your shipping comes up to $14, then you need to divide that $14 amongst the number of items in that box. So 6 items. For 14 divided or $14 divided by the 6 items is $2.33 that you're gonna have to you should add to how much you just paid for those items. So I find that the more items I order from the vendor, the more the shipping evens out for me. Yes, Celebrity Pink Jeans website is hard to navigate, guys. I definitely agree. I believe there is a fee to change your business name. Well, I'm gonna say it probably depends on your state or where you register for your business name. Do you suggest poly mailers for shipping? I suggest whatever works for your brand overall. I don't have an issue personally with poly mailers. Boxes are just so bulky anyway, especially if you're mailing like one item. So I don't personally have a problem with poly mailers. The mannequins were great. Let me see. Someone asked about the quality of the mannequins. Let me see if I can stop sharing for a second and show you. Um, so you probably can't see over there, but hold on. Let me put it up for a second. So there's like these like fabric ones. We got a lot of those. They have different you can be making a mess. We got a lot of those. So yeah, they're pretty good. We've had them for quite some time. So yeah. Let me see what else we got. Well, I think I had two more slides, guys. Why y'all didn't tell me? Um, yes, Amazon. Oh, yes, Amazon for mannequins as well. I order a lot of things from Amazon, especially if I need them really quickly. Um, I would find an accountant. I would suggest asking around versus just going to Google, because Google can be kind of unreliable, or they give you too many options for what's out there. So I would say ask around, especially in like groups for small business owners and things like that. I know in my city there's a lot of Facebook groups for small business owners. So I would just ask around, find somebody that someone has worked with directly. I'm in LA. Any advice for resources here? As far as resources, I don't know exactly what you mean by resources, but if you're in LA, I would say you have a huge advantage over the rest of us because you have the fashion district there. So I would recommend going to the fashion district and getting extremely accustomed to the merchandise that's out there, building vendor relationships, and they can literally see your face. Um, so if you order from them regularly and they like become familiar with their face, you can negotiate so many prices. You're welcome, Ashley. For a business just starting out, what do you suggest would be a good return policy? I would say it depends on your price point and what you're selling. I would say an exchange policy or a store credit um, would be ideal because then you wouldn't be losing the money that you made. But make sure that what you're selling is of quality. Try to prevent those returns from happening. Let's see. Oh my God, purchase paid $119 in shipping. Wow, that is insane. Yeah, I don't order shoes, so I would not be the best help in guiding you in regards to shoes. I'm sorry, that's crazy. Yes, you could totally so only dollars, you could totally eventually sell your fashion line with your boutique. Um Most definitely. Most definitely. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Linda says, if you were to pick one vendor with good price and quality, which one would you choose? I would always choose Iris Basic. I know I talk about that vendor a lot, but I love them. Their price point is good, and I have never had a complaint from anything that I've ordered from them. Yes, girl, Georgia, that is crazy. Oh my God. Labels, labels as far as like customized labels, or labels as in like stickers with a barcode. I'm not sure what you're asking. We buy our sticker labels from Amazon, but we get our tags made by a local print shop. I always encourage people to support local, and since we are a local business, we try to support as many other local businesses as possible. So we get all of our tags made. We get all of our promotional little cards and everything made by them as well. How do we buy luxury or big brand pieces? So, um, oftentimes you can there's a contact button on those particular brands' websites. I don't know anything particularly about ordering wholesale from them, but I do know that you can. inquire about it. So I think I've contacted Tory Burch before, because since our shop is part thrift store, part boutique, we contacted them about receiving like their samples and things like that as donations, and we actually got a response back from them. We've actually had a lot of companies that have sent us samples of their merchandise that like they've had in the warehouse for quite some time. So use that contact bar to send inquiries about wholesale, creating a wholesale account, or if that's even an option. Brenda, I think it's great to start telling people that you're going to start the boutique, even if you don't have a website up and running yet. Miss Honey, I'm I'm gonna guess you didn't hear me, but I don't know exactly where to find an accountant. We already had an accountant when I got here, so as like I was saying, I am a part of a lot of Facebook groups and Facebook communities. So I would say ask around in your community. Welcome. So we use Square for printing our barcodes. They have a barcode printing capability. So that is I just realized this little microphone was so far away. We use Square. Square prints our generates our barcodes for us, and we just use whatever the style number is on the invoice. We use that as the SKU. So before I go, I want to get through these last few slides because I know there's been a lot of people asking me about booking consultations and everything. So for everybody that attended the webinar, I want to offer you guys a coupon code to book a consultation. So use the code consult, that word consult, and you will get, I believe it's 20%, 10%. I don't know. I'm have to go back and look, but you can book a consultation if you're interested. Now until Friday, August 31st. So if you are interested in talking to me directly instead of me trying to read through your comments and you just want to ask me all of your questions and get them out of the way, feel free to book a consultation. I also sell vendor lists. So I know there's a lot of people out there that sell vendor lists. I think there's a lot of people out there that sell vendor lists of information that you could easily find on your own, and it's not a list of very credible vendors. So my intent is to sell you the convenience of not having to search for those reliable vendors because I have shopped with them before. So you can instead have the confidence that you're buying good quality merchandise without feeling like you're just taking a risk and throwing your money into it. So I have multiple vendor lists available on my website currently. If you use code YouTube, I think you get 30% off right now. So use that to buy a vendor list if you're interested. I think I have ones that start as low as like 25 vendors, and then there's one that goes up to 300 vendors as well. Yes, the code is consult. Purchase my book. So my book is available on Amazon. You can purchase it in a Kindle format, or you can purchase it as a paperback. Thank you so much to all of you guys who have purchased it thus far. I have some really great reviews. Thank you so much for reviewing my book. If you read it, please feel free to review it on Amazon. If you have a Kindle account, a Kindle Unlimited account, you can actually read it for free. So take advantage of that. It features a lot of tips about navigating the fashion trade shows, the fashion district, and online marketplaces. And it also gives you tips for negotiating prices and things like that and building vendor relationships. So it's really helpful. And then lastly, I just started a new consultation program on my website. So you can sign up for a group consultation. So I'm going to add those links back into my link or back into my bar on YouTube, not YouTube, I'm sorry. I'm going to add those links back into the bio of my Instagram. So basically what these group consultations are exactly that. They're groups. So, there's a saying that two heads are better than one, but what if we had five heads? So, these consultations will feature up to 4 individuals and myself, so 5 people total. And basically, we will come together 4 times in a month, so once a week. You can either choose Monday or Wednesday, and we will work through all of your boutique goals together. We will do it together. So like I said, I am not an expert by any means. I have I have knowledge, but I don't know everything. But there are certain people out there that know things that I don't know, that are good at things that I'm not good at, and vice versa. So if you guys are interested in a group consultation, feel free to sign up for that. The regular price of them will be $75. However, there's a private link that I will email to all of you guys when I send this webinar out to you, and it'll give you a discounted private rate for the group consultations if you're interested in that. And I think that's it. So yeah, so here's my contact information. If you guys have any questions, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Jance Chartae. You can follow me on Facebook, also Jance Chartae. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jance Chartae, and you can send me an email if you have any questions, jance@jancechartae.com. So that is all I got, guys. Thank you so much. Stay in touch. Um, yes, yes, yes. Yes, thank you guys. I'm so happy that you guys enjoyed talking to each other. Again, put your email addresses in this chat bar really fast before I close out the the program, because I want to send you guys this entire situation. So please go ahead and send your email addresses in the chat bar, and I will send this webinar out to you guys. It has been lovely talking to you all. I've had so much fun. Thank you guys so much. So much. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a blast. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie, Georgia, Sandra, Mrs. Bacon, Kiana, Mariah. I'm not sure if I'm going to say your name right, but Jarkeisha, Stephanie, Tashina, I like you, girl. Jamie, yes. Lady A, thank you guys so much. It's been a blast. Brandy, yes. It's been a blast. Thank you guys so much. Did I say it? Yeah, I said it right. This has been so much fun. Oh my God. So I'm thinking I might do a webinar, not anytime soon, because this one was, woo, this was a lot of hard work, but I'm thinking I will do another one soon. You guys let me know if there's any topics that you guys would like me to specifically cover in a future webinar. I would love to do this again, because it's been a lot of fun. I think we've been a lot of help to one another. That was the most important part to me, that we were able to help each other, and that you guys weren't like relying on me to have all the answers, because again, I'm professional, but I'm not an expert. Yes. Screenshots. Yes, take them screenshots. Whoop whoop. Awesome. Okay, I got all your emails, hopefully. So I'm gonna go ahead and log out. Thank you guys so much. I know you didn't get to see my face very much for this webinar. I need to drink some water so bad. That was a lot of talking. All right, so I'm gonna put that link, the links for the consultation, for my book, all that stuff in my in the bio of my Instagram account. If you guys are interested, please go ahead, book a consultation, buy a book, support if you want. If you don't, it's cool. I ain't gonna be mad. All right, y'all. Bye.